Okay, last time we have homework for evidence support and analogy. Number 43, 44, 46, and 47.
43A and 44C.
Just wait. Okay, just wait. 43A and 44 what? C? Hala, 44C, is that right? Okay, let's find. He said the main idea of this passage is to, again, we said that this kind of question, it must be a big picture, but if it come like that with the evidence, even support and analogy, we're going to make a match. Only we're going to make a match. So we're going to read the lines and match it two up. Let's find A from line 1 till 6, from in till whether. It's complete, as you can see. So he said, in my observations on the Drosera rotundifolia, there's a kind of plants. The leaves seem to be more quickly inflicted. Inflicted means move over animal substances and to remain inflicted for a longer period during very warm than during cold weather. Okay, let's find out which one will match it. He said, explore the effect of temperature on leaves. He said warm and cold. And he said to remain. But he didn't explore the effect. He just make an observation. Discover the movements of leaves when exposed to certain temperature. He talked about the movement, but he didn't talk about any certain temperature. Reject a proposed hypothesis on inflected leaves. He talked about inflected leaves, but he didn't reject, and he didn't refuse. Bolster a hypothesis on leaf movement. He talked about leaf movement, but he didn't make kind of bolster hypothesis or support hypothesis. So A doesn't have any kind of match. Let's look at B. From 6 to 9, from I till efficient. From I till efficient. He said, I wished, therefore, to ascertain whether heat alone would induce inflection. So he wants to be sure that heat alone would induce inflection, will cause inflection, and what temperature was the most efficient. Okay, perfect. Let's find which one will match. Explore the effect of temperature on leaves. Yes, I think this is right. It matched with B. Hala. He said, I would therefore to ascertain whether heat alone would induce inflection and what temperature was the most efficient. So now this matches. Explore the effect of temperature on leaves. Efficient effect. Okay, Hala?
Okay.
So A match with B. But let's look at the others. Discover the movement of leaves when exposed to certain temperature. He didn't talk about certain temperature. Reject a proposed hypothesis. No rejection, no refusal. Bolster a hypothesis. Myrna is here now. Bolster a hypothesis on leaf movement. He didn't talk about that. Good morning, Myrna. Myrna, good morning. Hello, can you hear me? And Yusuf joined also. Myrna, hello. Oh, okay, you wrote something. Good morning. Okay, you overslept? I'm sorry, I know that this time actually is terrible one, even for me. But just for the time being. After that, I'm going to change it completely. Just for the time being. Because actually, all the people that they enter to January, they are occupying all my time. And I want just to move with you because, mashallah, you are very perfect. The three of you are perfect. So I want to just move with you to just intend, inshallah, to get 700 and more in the English section. So this is what I decide to make it on Saturday. I'm sorry, on Friday. But just give me a time. By the end of the trial of January, I'm going to just make for you nice time that is going to be suitable for all of you. Inshallah. Okay, Mirna, may you write the answer for number 43 and 44?
مستر
Yes, Hala.
ممكن حضرتك تتبع بس اللينك على واتساب تاني؟
Why?
عايزة أدخل من التابلت، بس مش عارفة، مش راضي إن هو يطلع لفوق خالص.
Okay. What happened to Yusuf? He entered and he left again. No problem. Okay, but did you solve the homework or not? I have sent for you the answer. Oh, okay. May you solve it now, please, Mirna? 43 and 44 until we find what happened to Yusuf. Okay, Hala, I'm gonna just give time for Mirna to answer until we see what happened to Yusuf. You told me that the Yusuf will enter. He entered, then he left again.
Okay.
He said there is a problem in the internet and I'm trying to join. This from the last time.
مستر
Yes.
أنا ممكن أحل مع حضرتك اللي هي 46 and 47.
Okay, just wait. We are gonna give them time, Hala, then we're gonna solve because 46
لا
and
مش
47 also.
قصدي كده، أنا قصدي أنا ما عرفتش أحلهم.
Okay. So try to solve them, please. Yusuf, can you hear me? Yusuf? You have lag in your sound, Yusuf. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, the problem there is lagging in your sound, as I told you. May you tell me the answer for 43 and 44, Yusuf? Yusuf? Okay, Myrna said A and B. Waiting for Yusuf. Yusuf, can you hear me? Hello. If you can hear me, just write the answer, Yusuf. If you can hear me, maybe the internet is low. So if you can hear me, just write the answer on the chat box or write any message on the chat box just to be able to see that you can hear me or not. Yusuf? Okay, I don't think that Yusuf can hear me. Okay. I'm recording the session, Yusuf. I'm recording the session. So you can return and listen to it. But it's so important because the last time also this happened. So you have to be sure about the internet access before the session, Yusuf. Okay. Mirna, Hala, and Yusuf, if you can hear me. I think Mirna can. Hala, you are with me, the right?
Yes, مستر أنا هخليها بي برضو 44.
So both of you are gonna be A and B. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know about Yusuf. If you can hear me, Yusuf, write the answer in the chat box. Okay, let's find, because this kind of question doesn't have any keywords in the beginning, so we're gonna make the match as we used to. Because this question actually we consider it as a big picture, but it came in the form of evidence and supporting the knowledge. So because of that, as we said before, we're gonna make a match. Let's read from 1 till 6, from N till whether. He said, in my observations on the Drosera rautenfolia, there's a kind of plants, the leaves seem to be more quickly inflected over animal substances and to remain inflected for a longer period during very warm than during cold weather. So now we know the main point. We need to find the match for. Explore the effect of temperature on leaves. He talked about temperature, but he doesn't talk about its effect because he said warm and cold. And no kind of exploration. Discover the movements of leaves when exposed to certain temperature. Yes, he talked about movements of leaves, but he didn't talk about certain temperature in A. Reject a proposed hypothesis on inflected leaves. He talked about inflected leaves, but he didn't reject a proposed hypothesis. He didn't refuse anything. He said, in my observations, both are hypothesis on leaf movement. You talk about leaf movement when it's inflected, but no kind of hypothesis that is going to be supported. So A is wrong. Let's look at B from 6 till 9. He said, I wished, therefore, to ascertain whether heat alone would induce inflection and what temperature was the most efficient. So now he wants to explore. He wants to ascertain, to explore that heat alone would induce inflection and what temperature was the most efficient. So if you're going to go there, you're going to find that explore the effect of temperature on leaves. That right? He said that I want to find the temperature, which one is the most efficient, and you want to explore. How you know that the leaves? Because we now actually complete the sentence, and you talk about the leaves. So maybe it match with A. Let's find the others. Discover the movements of leaves when exposed to certain temperature. Again, he didn't mention anything of temperature. No kind of mentioning any kind of temperature. Reject a proposed hypothesis on inflected leaves. No rejection. Poster hypothesis of leaf movement. Again, he wants to explore, not to support. He wants to explore, not to support. So now I found that A match with B, as both of you mentioned. Let's look at C. From 45 till 51, from A till 120 Fahrenheit, degrees Fahrenheit, 45 till 51. Yusuf, can you hear me now? Yusuf? Okay. He said, a temporary suspension of the power of movement due to heat is called by SACH, heat rigidity. And this, in the case of the sensitive plant mimosa, is induced by its exposure for a few minutes to humid air raised to 120 degrees Fahrenheit to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. As you can find here, he talked about steps inside an experiment. So let's find which one will match. And he mentioned certain temperature. But here he said discover the movement of leaves when exposed to certain temperature. I think here no kind of movement because he said suspension. Suspension. So it will not match. It will not match. Reject, no. Reject, no. Explore the effect of temperature on leaves. Again, he said suspension. Poster hypothesis on leaf movement, no. So C is wrong. C also is wrong. It doesn't match anything up. From 69 till 71, from N till re-expansion.
Mister, can you
Yes,
hear me?
a little bit. Okay. Here he said, as we said, this is not the right answer. He said, in two instances, in two examples, when leaves were immersed in water at a lower temperature than 130 degrees Fahrenheit, which was then raised to 145 degrees Fahrenheit, they became, during the earlier period of immersion, inflected, but on being afterwards left in cold water were incapable of re-expansion. So he said that in the beginning they moved, after that they didn't. Let's find which one may match. Explore the effect of temperature on leaves. I think it can match, but it's better is B, because he said ascertain. Here he just make the experiment. Discover the movement of leaf when exposed to certain temperature. Here also he talk about that after when you put them in cold water, they stopped. So it's not a kind of discovery. This is an experiment. Reject the proposed, no. Booster hypothesis, no. So the answer is gonna be A and B. Perfect, Myrna and Hala. Okay, 46 and 47. Write the answer in the chat box, please. 46 and 47. Yusuf, did you solve these questions?
Yes, Master.
Okay, may you write the answer on the chat box, please? Until Hala and Myrna just write the answers.
Okay.
Okay, Yusuf said C and A. Waiting for Hala and waiting for Myrna. Hala said B and A.
لا العكس.
Okay. So B here, A up. This Hala. Myrna said C and B. Okay. So now we have some shared between all of you. That Myrna shared C with Yusuf and B with Hala. But we have different answers for Hala and Yusuf. Okay, let's find. Here it's easy because we have certain words. He said, according to the passage, what is different about Drosera leaves? Thank you. I need different about Drosera leaves with an easy way. Different about Drosera leaves. So let's find here on the lines from 33 till 39, from bud till aggregation. From 33 but till 39 aggregation. The problem that we have but, and we know that when we have but, you have to move a sentence before. So where from? Okay, let's read this to find out. He said, from the 11 last observation, we see that a temperature of 130 Fahrenheit never causes the immediate inflection of the tentacles. though a temperature from 120 degrees Fahrenheit to 125 degrees Fahrenheit quickly produces this effect. But the leaves are paralyzed only for a time by a temperature of 130 degrees Fahrenheit, as afterwards, whether left in simple water or in a solution of carbonate of ammonia, they become inflected and their protoplasm undergoes aggregation. Teacher, nothing here talk about Drosera leaves. Nothing here talk about Drosera leaves. Who choose A? Nothing mentioned Drosera leaves. Yusuf, he choose A. Nothing Yusuf mentioned Drosera leaves. So let's go to B. From 51 till 57, from it till inflection. 51 till 57. It till inflection. Teacher, there is it. What we're gonna do? Take a sentence before. So let's find this. A temporary suspension of the power of movement due to heat is called by such heat rigidity. And this, in this case, in the case of the sensitive plant mimosa, he didn't say Drosera, he said mimosa, another one, is induced by exposure for a few minutes to humid air, raised to 120 degrees Fahrenheit to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. It deserved noted that the leaves of Drosera, thank you. Yes, Drosera was mentioned here, but he mentioned mimosa, another kind, in the beginning, to show how it's different. Yes, now it shows how both of them are different from each other. After being immersed in water at 130 degrees Fahrenheit, are excited into movement by a solution of the carbonate so strong that it would paralyze ordinary leaves and cause no inflection. So in ordinary leaves like mimosa, it will be paralyzed. But for Drosera, no, it will excite them to move. Okay, thank you. So now I know why Drosera. So B is right for the time being. B is right. Myrna got it right. Hala got it right. Let's find from 90 to 91. Also, I must be sure. From this till inflection, 90 till 91. From this till inflection. Take care. It's not complete, so we have to complete it till the full stop. In one case, that it will not interfere with the evidence after. It will not, because the evidence after is 102. So let's read. Take care, I told you sometimes that this you can take a sentence before, but if there is this and a verb after it. But if he said this as an adjective, so you're not going to take a sentence before. Here he said this high temperature, so he talked about high temperature. This high temperature never causes true inflection. On the contrary, the tentacles commonly become reflex, though to a less degree than when immersed in boiling water. And this apparently is due to their passive power of elasticity. Just wait, teacher. It didn't talk about Drosera leaves, so it's not the right answer. So C is wrong. And we said also A is wrong. Let's look at D from 102 to 105, from N till respect. 102 till 105 respect. In short, means in summary, the leaves are generally killed by this degree of heat, but owing to differences of age or constitution, they vary somewhat in this respect. Wait, teacher, he talk about difference, but he doesn't mention Drosera. He doesn't mention Drosera, and even if you go the sentence before, he doesn't mention Drosera. Thank you. It's not the answer. So now we agree that Hal and Myrna got the right answer down, that Drosera in high temperature will still moving. Different from mimosa. So let's find out which one will match. A 130 degrees Fahrenheit causes inflection of the leaves. Let's find again. He said 130, which will then raise to 145. He doesn't mention, only mention 130. Hala. He mentioned 145. So it's not. Drosera leaves shrivel when exposed to intense heat. He didn't say that this intense heat or not, so I'm not going to take it. Drosera leaves thrive in certain intense solution, yes, in comparison to other leaves, to mimosa. In comparison to mimosa, it's thrived, it's excited. Look here, because he put it here in a solution where he said, which was then raised by becoming during the early period of immersion inflicted by being afterwards left in cold water. Cold water is solution. We're incapable of re-expansion. It's not this, I think. No, it's not this. I'm sorry. It's here. Leaves Drosera after being immersed in water are excited to movement by a solution of carbonate. Yes. And he compared it to mimosa, that it would not move. It will be paralyzed. So the answer is C. I think this answer is right for Myrna and for Yusuf. The Drosera leaves are unaccustomed to heat compared to other leaves. No, it's accustomed actually because it will move. So the answer is C and B. C and B. Hala, clear?
Clear.
Okay. Myrna, you got it right. Perfect, Myrna. Okay. Let's go now to the actual lesson. And it was about little picture. Question 8, 9, and 10. Myrna, did you solve them? Myrna, did you solve the questions for the little picture? Okay. Waiting for your answer, Myrna. Hala said that number 8 is D. Waiting for you, Myrna. Okay, Myrna also said D. Let's find. He said the most likely purpose of the parenthetical information in line 63 to 64. Thank you, Jennifer. So I'm going to just take the parentheses, but we said that we have to take the full sentence. He said the researchers paired the anthrombin gene with the promoter, which is a sequence of DNA that control gene activity that is normally active in the goat's mammary glands during milk production. Okay, wait, mister. I'm asking now about the importance of the inside the parentheses. And if you get here, he said a promoter. What the promoter? Which is a sequence of DNA that control gene activity. So illustrate an abstract concept. No, DNA is not abstract. DNA is concrete. Describe a new hypothesis. No hypothesis because this is a fact. Clarify a claim. This is not a claim. Define a term. Yes. What is the promoter? It's a sequence of DNA that control gene activity. Perfect, both of you. Okay. Let's go to number 9. Waiting for both of you to write the answer. Hala said C. Yusuf.
Yes, Mr.
Why you didn't? It's from the last time, Yusuf, the internet is not working properly.
مش عارف.
I think you are playing PlayStation a lot.
No.
So you are watching Netflix a lot.
No والله.
طيب. Tell me the answer for number 9, please. On the little picture.
Number 9.
Yes, on the little picture.
C.
Okay. So also Yusuf C. Waiting for... Okay, Myrna also C. So all of you agree that it's C. Let's find. He said which choice best summarize the first paragraph of the passage. As we know, look at the first sentence and the last sentence. Wait, teacher, there is it, a big pronoun. So take a sentence before. Wait, teacher, there is but. Take a sentence before. Okay. He said, we are not witnessing the abandon of the suburbs or a movement of millions of people back to the city all at once. Then here he said, not many young professionals moved to new downtown condos in the recession years because few such residences were being built. But there is no reason to believe that the demographic trends prevailing prior to the construction bust will not resume once the bust is over. It's important to remember that demographic inversion is not a proxy for population growth. It can occur in cities that are growing, those whose numbers are flat, and even in those undergoing a modest decline in size. Okay, let's find. He said here, the 2010 census demonstrate a sizable growth in the number of middle-class families moving into inner cities. Actually, he didn't mention in the first or the last sentence anything about the 2010 census. So cancel it. B, the 2010 census is not a reliable instrument for measuring population trends in American cities. Again, it doesn't mention anything about it. I know that it's mentioned in the passage, but I do care about the first and last sentence. Population growth. I think he talked about that. He talked about population growth. Yes. And demographic inversion. I think also he talked about demographic trends and demographic inversion. Yes. Are distinct phenomena. Yes, he said that they are important. He said that both of them are important. It's important. It's important to remember that demographic inversion is not a proxy for population growth. So both of them are important. And demographic inversion is evident in many American cities. Wait, he said it can occur in cities that are growing. Okay. Those whose numbers are flat. Perfect. And those undergoing modest decline. So it can happen in all cities. I'm with you. That it's C right now. Let's look at D. Population growth. It was mentioned in American cities has been increasing since roughly 2000, while suburban population have decreased. No, he said here, we are not witnessing the abundance of the suburb. So no decreasing. So the answer is C. Perfect. The last question in the homework, number 10. Write the answer in the chat box, please. Yusuf said D. Hala said B. Let's wait for Myrna. The answer, you're going to find it on the first sentence and last sentence, as we used to, if it's a full paragraph. Okay, Myrna said D. Myrna said D. So we have Yusuf and Myrna agree on D. Hala said B. Let's find. First sentence, he said, which choice best summarize the first two paragraphs? The first sentence, as we used to, till here. And the last sentence. Okay, perfect. He said, Emma Woodhouse, handsome, clever, and rich, with a comfortable home and happy disposition, seem to unite some of the best blessings of existence, and had lived nearly 21 years in the world with very little to distress or vex her. Nothing annoyed her in her 21 years. The last sentence, her mother had died too long ago, for her to have more than an
في hair.
indistinct remember.
واحد
I'm
قبليها.
sorry. Hala, are you talking?
في hair.
You want to take
Yes.
before?
في hair.
Okay.
hair.
You're right. You're right. I'm with you. Okay, we're going to read the full. She was the youngest of the two daughters of the most affectionate, indulgent father, and had, in consequence of her sister's marriage, been mistress of his house from a very early period. Okay, we just talked about that she started to be the leader of the house. Her mother had died too long ago. This is the main thing. Her mother had died too long ago for her to have more than an indistinct remembrance of her curses. This sentence means that she didn't remember her mom. The sentence means she didn't remember her mom. Take care of that. And her place had been supplied by an excellent woman as governess, who had fallen little short of a mother in affection. But the main thing, that this girl, nothing annoyed her. She is handsome, clever, rich, and she didn't remember her mom because her mom died too long ago. Okay. Anybody wants to change his answer? Anybody wants to change? Okay, Myrna, change from D till A. Anybody wants to change? Hala, Yusuf, or you're going to keep in your answer B and D? She didn't remember her mom. She didn't remember her mom. He said her mother had died too long ago for her to have more than an indistinct remembrance of her curses. Hala, are you going to keep in your answer?
ممكن نخليها ايه؟
A. So Hala, change from B till A. Yusuf, are you going to keep in your answer?
A also.
A. So all of you agree that it's A. Let's find. He said, even though a character loses a parent, yes, she lost her mother at an early age, she is happily raised in a loving home. Yes, he said nothing annoyed her. 21 years with nothing to annoy her. So the answer is A. An affectionate governance, yes, it was mentioned in the last sentence, helps a character to overcome the loss of her mother. Wait, she didn't remember her mom. She didn't remember her mom. Her mom died long time ago. Largely as a result of her father's wealth. Wait, he didn't say that her father is wealthy. He said only affectionate, indulgent father. Who is wealthy or rich is the girl. So thank you. And again, there is an information that is extra here that wasn't mentioned, so it's not right. A character has a generally comfortable and fulfilling life. That right. But then she must recover from losing her mother. Again, she didn't remember her mom. So the answer is A, as all of you said. Okay, now question 11. Start solving it and write the answer in the chat box. Take care. Describe the structure of the first paragraph. Look at the first sentence and last sentence. I have the answer from Myrna, but I'm not going to say it. Waiting for Yusuf and Hala. I have the answer from Yusuf. Waiting for Hala. Hala, all that time to find the answer?
نعم
Where is your answer?
ثانية بس ثانية.
Okay.
مستر هيكون ايه؟
So Hala said A,
Yes.
Myrna said C, Yusuf said D. He said, which choice best describe the structure of the first paragraph? I'm going to go to the first sentence. I'm going to go to the last sentence. It start with but, so we have to take a sentence before. He said, the problem of our age is the proper administration of wealth, that the ties of brotherhood may still bind together the rich and poor in harmonious relationship. The last one, a relapse to return to old conditions would be disastrous to both. Disastrous to both means the rich and the poor, not the least so to him who served, and would sweep away civilization with it. But whether the change be for good or ill, it's upon us, beyond our power to alter, and therefore to be accepted and made the best of. It's a waste of time to criticize the inevitable. It's a waste of time to criticize the inevitable. Okay. Let's find the Hala's answer. A personal history is narrated. Yes, I think he said our age. So this personal history. Then historical examples are given. I didn't read here, but he said a method is recommended.
What?
No, the last one is not a method. The last one, Hala, is not a method. So it's not A. Let's look at C, and C for Myrna. Certain principles are stated. Myrna, it's only one principle. It's only one principle. Opposing principles are stated. Okay, I did read here, but he said a consensus is reached. No, there's not a consensus. So also it's not C. Let's look at Yusuf. A historical period is described. No, he didn't start with historical period, Yusuf. So now let's find B. A position is stated. Yes, this is a position because he said our. There's a position. Historical context is given. I read here, but then he said an earnest advice, nasiha, is given. Yes, he said it's a waste of time to criticize the inevitable. This is a kind of advice. So the answer is B. Myrna, Hala, Yusuf, clear?
Clear. Message number 12B.
Okay, you solved it? Okay.
انا حلاهم اصلا من بدري.
Okay, so حالة set B. We're gonna wait for Myrna and Yusuf. Yusuf told me his answer. I just write the answer for Hala because she uttered it loudly. But I'm not gonna say the answer of Yusuf. Waiting for Myrna. Okay, Yusuf and Myrna, they say C. Hala said B. Let's find the main purpose of the first paragraph. So the first sentence, as you can find here, and the last sentence. And they said had he, so we're gonna take all. Akira came directly, breaking all traditions. Was that it? Had he followed form? Had he asked his mother to speak to his father to approach a go-between? Would Chai have been more receptive? Okay, it's easy. He broke all tradition. Then he started to ask questions about what did he do? Like when someone steals something, why he stole it? Did he work? Did he have money? Let's find. So describe a culture? No, it's no describe of culture. Criticize a tradition. Criticize a tradition. He's not criticizing the tradition. Hala. He's not criticizing the tradition because he breaks the tradition. He is criticizing or he's asking about the action of Akira. Why he did that. Question suggestion? No, also. It's no suggestions. Analyze the reaction? Yes. He is analyzing. He's analyzing what happened when he broke the tradition. Was that it? Is that right? Had he followed form? Had he followed the tradition? Had he asked his mother to speak to his father to approach a go-between? And would the child have been more receptive? Would the child accept this kind of reaction? So it's analyze the reaction of Akira. Second question that you got it wrong. What happened? Clear, Myrna, Hala, Yusuf?
Okay.
The last question. Okay. The last question. Take care. I'm asking about 35 till 40. Why I brought the paragraph before? Because all the answers you're going to find in the previous paragraph, in the previous paragraph, in the previous paragraph. But mainly the answer is going to be here. Write the answer, please, and be sure about your answer.
Mr. B.
Hala said B. Let's find Myrna and Yusuf. I got the answer from Yusuf. And I got the answer from Myrna. Yusuf and Myrna, both of them agree that it's C. Let's find. He said, what function does this discussion of water in 35 to 40 serve in passage 1? I need the first sentence and the last sentence. He said, water ice from the moon. Pulse could be, hala, could be, may, might, could be sent to astronauts on the International Space Station for drinking or as a radiation shield. Splitting water into oxygen and hydrogen makes spacecraft fuel. So ice-rich asteroid could become interplanetary refueling station. Both of these are hypotheses. Hala. He's not sure. Could, might, will, may, hypothesis. But I need to read the sentence before also because he mentioned all of them in the previous paragraph. He said in this scenario, water mined from other words could become the most desired commodity in the desert. What's worth more, a kilogram of gold or a kilogram of water? Ask Chris Zangi of Honeybee Robotics in New York. Gold is useless. Water will let you live. So it continues and extend comparison that begins in the previous paragraph. No, it finished. Because in the previous paragraph, he talked about comparison between gold and water. And it's finished here. Thank you. It's not A. It provides an unexpected answer to a question raised in the previous paragraph. Yes, there was a question, but it was answered already. Hala. It was answered already. He restarted a new claim. So it's not B. It's not B, hala. Let's look at C. It offers a hypothetical example, hypothesis, supporting a claim made in the previous paragraph. Yes, because here he talk about water. There's a claim. And here he gave us hypothetical examples relate to it. So the answer is C. Okay, hala?
Okay.
D. It examines possible outcomes of proposal put forth in the previous. No, it's not possible outcomes. So the answer is C. Okay, perfect. As used to, that we have a passage that has words. I told you every time that you have to read to increase your vocab awareness, and the meaning of these words is here. Now, let me just remind you of the skills that we covered together. We cover evidence support, analogy, inference, function, big picture, and little picture. MashaAllah. 7 skills out of 10. Let's find now what is the skill that we must cover. It's one of the most tiresome skill. The skill that we're going to talk about right now, kindly, if you find in the passage, don't answer, don't spend time in answering it because it will take time. Leave it the last question of the passage. Even if it comes the first question in the passage, don't answer it directly because you have to read the whole passage. You have to read the whole passage. The people that they can read quickly, okay. The people that they don't have this kind of technique or this kind of skill, kindly leave it till the end of the passage. By the end of the passage, when you answer most of the question, you're going to find yourself that you can answer it directly because now you know what happened in the passage. This skill is called tone. The problem in the tone that it has many kind of questions. Many kind, it's a skill, but under it, many kind of questions. different kind of questions. Let me send the file first. Again, I'm gonna repeat this kind of question. All of the questions under the tone need from you to read the whole passage, and this will waste your time, as we said before, that each question must take only 1 minute 20 seconds, not more than that. If you take more than that, you're gonna lose question in passage 5 and passage 4 that you're not gonna be able to answer them. So because of that, if you find this kind of question, and I'm gonna show you how it looks like, leave it till the end of the passage. And if you find that it will take more time, leave it till the end of the literacy or of the section. Why, teacher? I'm gonna lose marks. No. Sometimes you can get 2 mistakes and you're gonna get the full mark, because we are not depending on how many mistakes you got. We depend on something called raw mark. We are depending on something called raw mark. So people that got full answers, or they got missing 2 or missing 3, sometimes they got 800 out of 800. Sometimes they got 800 out of 800. So we're not depending on how many mistakes. We depend on the raw mark. And this, inshallah, we're going to be trained on when we start answering a full test. Okay. As you can find here, I said tone questions have many shapes. Some tone questions are specific, rather than asking for the tone of the entire passage. Like, it's going to tell you, what do you think about the tone of the passage? The author with or against, or he is not with or against. Sometimes they focus on one paragraph. Other times they focus on a sentence or two. So, as we said, that we have different shapes for this question. Let's talk about the first shape. Look, I brought the whole passage. And here is the question. As you can find, there's the whole passage. There's the whole passage. And here the question, he said, one characteristic of passage 1 that may make it difficult to fully comprehend is the author's assumption throughout the readers. Wait, mister. You want me to read the full passage to know that why it's difficult to comprehend, why it's difficult to understand? Because the author think that the readers are what? Make an assumption that the readers are what? Okay. How are we going to solve this kind of question? As I told you, if you're going to leave it till the end of the passage, you're going to get an overview of the whole passage, because the question are going to pass through many lines. If you are a good reader and you can finish reading in less than 1 minute and solve the question directly, you can do that. In this kind of question, I can solve it like the big picture. In this kind of question, I can solve it like the big picture. Like, I'm going to concentrate on the first sentence of the first paragraph and the last sentence of the first paragraph. So the first sentence of the first paragraph, and only this kind of question, and the last sentence of the first paragraph. Take care. Here he said hence, and hence one of the words also that we need to take a sense before. Okay. And also the first sentence of the last paragraph. As you can find, mashallah, it will take time. And the last sentence of the last paragraph. There's one way that I can solve with, but I do appreciate if you can leave it till the end of the passage. Okay, let's read now to find. He said here, I'm tempted to give one more instance showing how plants and animals, most remote in the scale of nature, are bound together by a web of complex relations. So now he tried to give one example of how plants, despite that they are far away from each other. The last sentence. Now, the number of mice is largely dependent as everyone knows, on the number of cats. And Mr. Newman says, near villages and small towns, I have found the nest of humblebees more numerous than elsewhere, which I attribute to the number of cats that destroy the mice. Hence, it's quite credible that the presence of a feline animal, meaning the cats, in large number in a district might determine through the intervention first of mice and then of bees the frequency of certain flowers in that district. I think now he talked to scientists. He talked to scientists because that is not going to be fully understood. Let's look to the last paragraph first, since the last sentence. In the case of every species, many different chicks acting at different periods of life and during different seasons or years probably come into play. Some one chick or some few being generally the most potent, but all concurring in determining the average number or even the existence of the species. In some cases, it can be shown that widely different chicks act on the same species in different districts. The last sentence. What struggle between the several kinds of trees must here have gone on during long centuries, each annually scattering its seeds by the thousand? What war between insect and insect, between insect snails and other animals with birds and beasts of prey, all striving to increase and all feeding with each other, or on the trees or their seeds and seedlings, or on the other plants which first clothe the ground and thus check the growth of the trees. Yeah, he talked to scientific persons. Okay, let's find. Before we find the answer, let me tell you again how we can solve this question. You can read the answer, read the whole passage to know its main idea, or you're going to solve it with the big picture. You can deal with this kind of question as big picture skill. Find the accurate answer from the choices. Okay, if now we need to find the answer for this one, what do you think? Me write the answer as we read now, as we deal with it as a big picture. Is it the readers now are familiar with the process of plant propagation, have a well-developed understanding of humblebees, are acquainted with ancient Indian mounds, that actually we didn't talk about that at all, have read at Mr. Newman's work, even we didn't talk about that. So it's maybe A or B. What do you think? Is it A or B? Take care, we talk about the relationship between plants and animals. And in the last, start saying about plants. Humblebees only mentioned once. Huh? What do you think the answer?
مستر
Yes.
احنا هنعمل زي البيج بيكتشر يعني first paragraph اخد اول sentence واخر sentence
واخر
برضه، صح؟
سنتنس بس ده بس في الحاله دي حاله، لكن في اسئله تانية في التون اصعب من دي. ده اسهل واحد.
طب انا افرق بينهم ازاي؟
ما عشان كده قلت لحضرتك اول ما تلاقي الكويشن دوت هو بيقول لك على طول وجهه نظر الكاتب في اهو difficult fully comprehend the authors. In this case, leave it till the end. When you leave it till the end, you're gonna find the answer is clear. لان خلاص انت قريت كل الكويشنز، فالانسر يبقى كلير قدامك يا حلا. تمام؟ ميرنا said ايه؟
اوكي.
يوسف.
يس مستر.
اها.
يس مستر.
You are lagging يا يوسف. اكتب الانسر يا يوسف. ايه رايك؟ ايه ولا بي يا يوسف؟
انا كمان ايه؟
وحلا كمان ايه؟
ايه.
Okay. So yes, as we said, he took only about humblebees once, but he took about plant many times. I know that you didn't find anything talk about propagation, but we're talking about the relationship. And if you can find here, if you read the whole thing, you're going to find that they are talking about propagation. So the answer is A. Again, I'm going to advise you in this kind of question, it's better to leave it till the end of the passage, even if it come in the beginning of the questions. نعم يا حل.
لا مش حضرتك والله، سوري انا اسف.
Okay. Other kind of questions. He will bring for you most of the tone question come to compare between passage 1 and passage 2. Because in the 5 passages in literacy 2, in the 5 passages of literacy 2, one passage will have 2 passages, as you can see, passage 1 and passage 2. And it's gonna ask you to tell me the relationship between passage 1 and passage 2. In this case, again, you have to read both passages, but also you can solve it with big picture, but in a limited time. So what we're gonna do, as I told you, you have to leave it till the end. You have to leave it till the end, and you're gonna understand. You have to leave it till the end, and you're gonna understand. This kind of question, I want you to solve it as homework. Like number 1. Only I want number 1 here, because number 2 is another question. It's third. هما 3 questions اهو. Question الاولاني, he's gonna just deal with it as a big picture. The question is gonna ask about the point of view of one of the passage. The second question is going to ask you about the differences between 2 passages. The third question is going to ask you, all of the following is mentioned except 1. So how am I going to know? You have to read the whole passage to know which one is not mentioned at all. So the people that they can read fast, yeah, they can solve it. For me, it's better to leave it till the end of the passage, because by the end of the passage, you're going to know that which one is not stated. If you spend time to solve this kind of question, it will waste your time. Like if this question come in first passage, you're not going to be able to arrive to the 5th passage that has simple questions that you can get marks from. So take care. Only I want from you to solve question number 1 as homework. Let me write this. Only question number 1 for this, to find the relationship between the 2 passages. Let me return back to the test. As we know, in the test, we finish all the evidence questions. We finish all the evidence support, and analogy question. Now I'm going to revise the inference and function in real test. And as you remember, the inference and function, the real test, consists of 3 levels. The simple, he will give you lines and words. The average, he will give you lines. The hard one that we said also you have to keep it till the end of the passage, he will give you only words. This is the first passage that we solved the evidence and image support and analogy in it before. Let's find, no, this big picture, this evidence image support. So question 4 is inference and function. Let me return and write also the homework for this. Homework. Question 4. Still, we have other question. Question 5, easy also. He mentioned the lines and the words. He mentioned the lines and the words. No, I'm sorry. Question 5 and 6 is evidence based. I'm sorry. Okay, question 7. Yes, it's from the easy. So 4 and 7. 8 vocab. 9. This from the average question number 9 for inference and function. 10 vocab. Done. So only you're going to solve the inference and function for this passage. 4, 7, and 9. 4, 7, and 9. And see you next time, inshallah, on Sunday. Goodbye. Guma Mubarak.
ماستر،
Yes, Hala.
انا الهوم بتاع 4 and 7 and 9 بدخل عليه مش راضي